Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you?
All right. How are you?
Good, thank you. Hi, Emily. Hey, Sandra.
Hi.
Good to see everybody today. Give it a minute or two for other people to stream in. And I'll let you know that my colleague Michael is here for the next few minutes to help you out with any technical problems you might have with Zoom. So feel free to ping him in the chat if you have any issues there. Okay. All right.
Scott, what is the topic next week?
For
challenging.
Oh, for the challenge. Next week is cats.
Oh.
I'm giving equal time to the two most popular pets. So this week is dogs, next week is cats. Yeah. Gail's here. Hi, Gail. And hello to both Nancy's and Donna as well. Okay.
Belated hi, thanks.
Hi. Okay. Give it about 30 more seconds and then we'll get started. Emily, what is that background? Do you know where that is?
That is in Sedona in Arizona.
Okay, I suspected
that's
that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Took me a long time, so many years to find out the timing when to get this beautiful picture with the cloud. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. For many years, I visit in the morning. I couldn't get that picture.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
is really nice.
I went there every year. That's a beautiful place.
I've never been there, but my wife says that's one of her favorite places on earth.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and get us started. I think there may be a couple of people popping in the next minute or two, but I do have some housekeeping things to go over anyway, so they won't miss too much of the key content. So good to see everybody. Again, my colleague Michael is here for the next few minutes if you need any technical help. And let's talk about iPhone video. Just a little bit about me, first of all, for anybody new to any of my classes. I do teach a lot of photography related classes on Get Set Up, as well as a couple of writing classes. In addition to serving as a Get Set Up guide, I'm a freelance writer and photographer, but I love being a Get Set Up guide. It's a great experience. I love our mission of building social connection and learning. And so it's really a privilege to be here. And I want to emphasize how much we are here to serve you. We are here to help you learn useful skills from other older adults. It's very peer-to-peer. We would love to see you on camera. It just helps us build that social connection. So if you're comfortable with that, please go ahead and show yourself on video. If you would like to request a recording of this class, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. Just specify the title of the class and the date, and we'll get that sent to you. We are live streaming this morning. If you're joining us by live stream, welcome. Happy to have you watching. The best way to participate in any of our classes is to register for one. And that way you can interact live with the other learners as well as the guide and ask questions directly. And lastly, Get Set Up isn't paid to promote any products. We are purely an educational platform, so anything I talk about today is not meant to be an endorsement of Apple or the iPhone. We just know there are a lot of iPhone users out there, and we build some classes to serve them. So what we'll be going over today is just understanding the video settings and features on your iPhone camera. And those may vary depending on what version of the iPhone you have. So some of the older ones may not have the same few bells and whistles that some of the newer ones do. We'll talk about editing videos right from your phone. And we'll also talk about sharing the videos directly from your phone to anyone you want to. If there is anything else that you wanted to learn today, go ahead and drop that in the chat. And I will be stopping for questions, so I'll be happy to touch on that at that time. Okay, so let's talk about your camera settings, and I will be sharing my phone screen as well today to kind of walk you through this. But you will, if you go to just the basic settings on your phone, you will come down here to find, just scroll down to find camera or photos and camera, depending on the model of your phone. And the video settings will appear at the top. So I'm going to open up my phone and show you how to get there. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. So what I will do here, and I'm going to reduce this so I can still keep my eye on the chat, is I'm going to go down to settings here and open that up. And I am going to scroll down to camera, which is usually down where I have all of my entertainment, music, TV, and so forth. So I'm going to click on camera, and my video settings are up here. So you can see here, if I go to formats, one of the things, this applies to both photos and video. If I do high efficiency, what will happen is that will reduce the file size so that it takes up the least amount of space based on how I shot the video on my device. So I won't lose a whole lot. But it also will, if your phone is capable of 4K, that will require high efficiency, because 4K, and I'll get into what that means, is a pretty rich media format for video and is pretty memory or data hungry. But then you'll see here your video recording settings, and this is going to vary depending on your phone. So let me see on the next slide. On some older phones, if you've got, say, an iPhone 8, you'll probably have options like this. And here you can select the resolution and the frame rate. It'll show you this down here. So you'll see things like HD and FPS. Those are, HD is high definition, and FPS is frames per second. And that means the number of frames are going to be captured to make up the video as you're shooting it. So you've got a few options here. If you think of, if you've got a TV and you subscribe to high definition channels, kind of the same thing here. When you see 1080p, that stands for pixels. And so this is sort of was the standard about a year ago. Now people are going to 4K. So a lot of TVs now are 4K for high definition, which is about as real seeming as you can get when you're watching video. You'll see here, that's what I've got here. And I can, and yeah, Gail, if it's on your phone, if it shows 4K, then that is an option for you. So if you'll see here, I've got mine set to 4K at 30 frames per second. The maximum I can go is 60 frames per second, which would be the richest video I could possibly capture. But if you've got an older phone, if you don't see 4K in your options, then you're limited to these. So this 4K has been added to some of the later models of the phone. Down here, you'll see some explanation of what this is all about and what kind of results you're going to get. So 4K at 60 frames per second is going to be the highest resolution, the smoothest video, no choppiness at all. It's going to be really, really nice. Now, this PAL formats, as long as none of us are here, are coming in from Europe or Africa, Asia, or South America, I wouldn't worry about this. That's just a different format standard in those countries, or continents, I guess I should say. But if you go to auto low light FPS, that will automatically adapt to any low light setting you might be setting some video in. Okay. Jean, I think I see a hand up. Do you have a question?
No,
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure.
no, I'm
Yes,
fine.
Sandra.
Thank you.
Sandra does.
On mine, because I have a 6,
Uh-huh.
it says video format control. Should that be, and it says show the entire video format control in camera. Should that be on or off?
I would keep that on.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
And then show PAL formats.
Yeah.
Oh, television video, so I probably won't need that. Is that
Right,
what you just
right.
talked about? Oh, I'm embarrassed. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah, you don't need to worry about that one. So, yeah.
Scott,
Yes, Emily.
on the number there, 720p HD you have a 30 FPS, but I have, okay. Oh, okay, I found it. Okay.
Okay, great.
My note is different number there. That's why
Yeah.
I want to ask. It's the same. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just to give you an idea, if you've bought a new television, say in the last 15 years, maybe a little longer than that, when high definition TVs really started to take hold, 720p was that was the format of some of the earliest HD TVs. And if you ever watched Blu-ray, when people were watching, when we couldn't download videos as much or stream them, a lot of people bought Blu-ray DVDs. Most of those were in 720p. So that was sort of like the early HD format, and it eventually climbed to 1080. So that means there are that many more pixels per line in that video display. So that's 1080 pixels per line on your screen. So that's going to make it richer. And 4K is just, that's everything on steroids, so to speak. Yeah. Yes, Gail. Gail, I saw you had your hand up, but I'm not hearing you. Oh, looks like she went back on mute. Okay. I'm Gail, if you want, you can drop the question in the chat. In the meantime, I am going to go back, and you'll see here also that you can set your recording for slow motion, and that you do not have the 4K option for slow motion, but you do have a slow motion capability on on your video camera, and I'll show you where that is and how to use it shortly. And the rest of this, you really don't have to worry about. Most of this is all going to be related to still photos. So your still camera on your, which is a whole other class. We do have an iPhone photography class if you want to learn more about that. Oh, okay. So this is interesting. What Gail gets is 4K at 60. It says it will only play on Mac. And you know, let me check that out a minute, Gail, because I don't have that on mine. That's interesting. So OS High Sierra 10.13 or later, yeah, that would mean, that does mean that it's probably recording in Apple's proprietary video software, which is QuickTime. There are ways to convert that. It's kind of difficult to do, but you can do it. You can convert it to MP4. But yeah, just in the format that you recorded on an iPhone, it's going to be playable only on Macs or other Apple devices, and it would require you to have the operating system on a Mac. That would be one of the later ones. And High Sierra, I forget how many years back that operating system goes. I think now they're on Catalina or something like that. So if you've got a newer MacBook, you should have High Sierra on there. Oh, it's just PC. Okay. You're just working on a PC? Okay. So when I get in there, let me see if I can save a photo in a different format. I've never tried to do that, but there may be a way to save it in an MP4 format. Okay. All right. Other questions on the setup? Okay. So what happens when we open up our camera? Well, first of all, before we do that, I just want to alert you to something on that will exist on some later iPhones, but not on the older ones. Some of the later models of the iPhone they started out, I think, with the iPhone 10 had two lenses rather than just one lens. And I'll show you what those different lenses do, but depending on the button you push on your phone screen, you're going to activate one or the other of these. Same here. If you've got some of the latest models, they actually have three lenses. And what that's going to look like is when you open up your camera. So let's open that up. And you'll see here that I have, it defaults here to 1x. If I move it over to video, same thing. This is the default setting, meaning it is the normal photo orientation or video orientation that I'm going to get. If I want to zoom out, I have a lens that will be activated when I press this. And you'll see I zoom out. So that's if you want to get a wider bit of visuals in the scene. I can go back here, or I can zoom in by hitting on 2x. The other thing you can do is just press on this for an extra second, and there's a dial there that you can use to sort of customize how far you're going to zoom in. Now, that works with both your camera, your still camera, and your video camera on here. And from there, you are ready to start shooting a video. And all you need to do is press on this button when you're ready to start the video that you're going to capture, and you press on it again when you're done. Sandra raises a good question too. You'll see here, I've got composition grids on here, and you do not have to have these. This would be if you're really trying to, in fact, I might turn that off for video just because I don't really need it right now. But these grids, just to show you what those are, and they work both on your camera and your video camera, both your still and video camera. But right down here, this helps you if you're taking a photo of a landscape or maybe even a video, just helps you line things up a little bit. If you turn that off, you won't see those grid lines I had if you turn it on. But this would say help you shoot with, if there's a horizon, you can straighten it up so it's straight on in the picture, things like that. So that's probably one of the best uses for it. It also is helpful if you sort of want to keep things off center, say a subject. Sometimes that's an artistic way to go about filming somebody or something. So say that I am, let's take this pot here. And if I turn my camera on and I want to video this or photograph it, it would be off center, and I would just look for one of those grid lines. Oh, sorry, it's not tilting. I would want to look for one of these grid lines to intersect with it. That would tell me that it's off center. And sometimes that's just a counterintuitive way to shoot something, but it's really nice way to do it. So there you go. And I can show you, I might do this on my computer screen so it's a little more visible. Let me call up my photos. Okay, so if I go to my albums, I have a few videos on here, and I'll show you what they end up turning out like. I may not have the one I want to show you. Well, here's an older one. And this one is, let me just look at this a minute. And okay, I clipped this. So I am going to go back just so I can show you how this works. But anyway, here is just what a video would look like. I'm going to start from the start. Here we go. Do it again. Do it again. So that was my niece showing off her gymnastics skills on the Capitol Mall a couple of years ago. And that was with a standard 1080p. But I also have another one that I'll show you that I don't know how well this is going to show up over Zoom, but this is a video I took of my nephew wiping my dog's feet. He thought she needed, after being outside, she needed to have her feet cleaned. I think Sandra has seen this one before, but.
All clean. What about the front paws? Hey, Lucas. Good.
Okay. Anyway, that is 1080p. Or I'm sorry, that is 4K. what I showed you before was 1080p. This is 4K. So it is really nice and sharp. Again, this would be about the best you could get. I took this at 30 frames per second rather than 40 or 60, but it's still a pretty sharp video. Okay. That's what I wondered. Does that really show, Gail? I wondered if it was really obvious, the difference. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know what renders well on Zoom and what doesn't. Okay. So that is just an example of what the videos are going to look like. And then you can film in slow motion. And that you'll see if I press on this, it's gonna just go very slowly. But just to show you what a slow motion video might look like, let me call up this. So this is really just for kicks. There's no real reason you would need slow motion. There may be some time where it might be essential, but I can't imagine it. This was just kind of fun to do. So let me show you what I did here. This is a geyser in Iceland. And you have to wait a couple of seconds to see what happens, but I start the slow motion in a second. Here we go. Slowly bubbling up here. Let me hurry that along just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's taking its time. Let me. Okay. Here we go. Thought I had clipped that, but maybe not. There we go. So Gail, in answer to your question, I think you can start mid recording, changing it over. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of fun. And there is also time lapse. So what does time lapse do? It just kind of speeds things up a little bit for you. I have to open this up again. Sorry about that. But if you go to a time-lapse video, you can have some fun with this too. Again, these are not essential by any means, but they can just be kind of fun to play around with. So let me go down to my Get Set Up album to show this. Okay, here is a time-lapse video that I took on a walk last week. Here we go. Whoops, it's not showing. There we go.
So does that have realtors do those home tours?
I'm sorry, does that have what, Gail?
Is that how realtors do those home tours?
Yeah. So there you go. That is how to do a time lapse. It's basically fast motion rather than slow motion. So it just speeds it up. But I can tell you on this, I was simply strolling. So, okay. And that has started to freeze up. So let me get out of that a minute. There we go. It's just running a little bit behind. But yes, that's a great idea. Gail, I'm going to try that. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, you could do that for a sunset or a sunrise or something like that. It would look really interesting. And, you know, that's a good question too. Emily was asking if people use it to show clouds moving. And yeah, you can do it that way. Yeah. You would really have to not want to use your phone for quite a while, but I've seen people do this, and these are, you know, professional videographers, but they'll do something with a flower starting to bloom, and it'll go through that fast motion like that. So, and I know there was a question about the editing process, so I'm going to open up. Before I go any further, though, are there any other questions I can answer? Yes, Emily.
How do we use this time lapse to change the cloud? I always admire people and say, wow, look at the cloud moving. So how do we set that up to have that effect?
So number one, I would try to do it on a relatively windy day, so you're not waiting forever for the clouds to really move. Because if it's not that windy, they may not be moving that fast. But what you would do is open up your camera. Why is this so behind? You know, I'm going to close this out for a minute. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, but it's sort of not responding right away to what I was sharing here. All right. But what you would do is when you start to take a time-lapsed video, you're going to go to, whoops, not there. You're going to go over to time lapse. And again, it's the same thing. You would just press the red button to start it. And you'll see here, it's really spinning around fast. So that is what is getting you that fast motion on there. So if you were to hold this up to the sky on a really cloud-filled day, it's going to catch those moving, but depending on the wind, you may have to hold it there like that for a while in order to really have that appear, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I will try it. Thank you.
Yeah. And then when you're all done, you just click on that red button again and it stops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you keep the camera steady? Is there some technique or while you're taking the video?
Yeah. So most iPhones are pretty forgiving about simple movements, handheld movements, and things like that. But with video, it is going to show more. And if you notice that video I did of the geyser, you could see it moving around like that. The best thing you can do to really keep it steady is to put it on a tripod. And you can buy tripods. You can just go to Amazon and look for a camera tripod. They make tripods today that have slots for smartphones. So you could slip, rather than just use it for a camera, you could slip a smartphone. And the slots for those are adjustable. So because smartphones now come in so many different sizes, this would allow you to just adjust it to slip in to fit your phone. And that way it's on a steady platform and won't move around. So that's your best bet, is just to do it like that.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. And I know Gail was wondering about music to videos. You can do that. I probably won't have time to go into that today, but I do have a class on that. So you might want to keep your eyes out. I think maybe that's coming up next week again, but it's on creating videos with music. And that you can do right on your phone. And there are ways to find either music that you like and have downloaded to your phone already, or places where you can get it. And I know somebody was interested in finding out about trimming a video. Well, let's talk about editing in general, because you have a bunch of options there. Okay. Whoops. All right. I have a very ornery screencasting app here today. Okay. All right. So let's say that you have a video that you've taken, but you want to cut it a little bit. There's parts of it you just don't want to have in there. If you open up your videos, and you can see that I had already done this with a particular video. So here is one, and there we go. Here is one of Lucas again, and he's dancing. But maybe I want to just clip this a little bit, because this goes on for quite a while. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click edit. And from here, you'll see here, this is every frame in the video. So if I click down here, and I can start, if it will let me. Now this is not cooperating. So let me try that again. So there we go. Okay. So I pressed my thumb right here at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to move it over to where I actually want to trim it to. So let's say we want to start it right there. I'm going to go here. So now all these frames are gone. I click done. Click save video, and now I've cut, it's preparing it. Now I've got a shorter video.
Now you still have the original video and no.
Sorry, Gail, I didn't hear that. I didn't catch that.
You maintain the original video or just a certain one?
No, you can do this with any. Yeah, any that you've taken. And you also have the option, if you decide that you'd rather go back to what you had before, you can either do that, or you can just hit, okay, I hit done again, but I can hit, let me go back here. If I open it up after a while, I can hit revert, and I think it's already done that. Yeah. It's being a little wonky here, but you can always, down here, it would say revert, and you could go back to your original. It works the same way with photos. So, and I have never tried to pull a still shot from a video. I'm just wondering if you could do this. That's a good question, though. Looks like it would still save as a video clip. But let's see now what happens if I play that. So now I've cut it down to just 4 seconds, but it's still playing as video. So yeah, so maybe the best way is to do a screenshot, or I'm sure there is other software out there that would let you do that. That gives me an idea for another class, actually. So but the other thing that you can do with these is I have a lot of videos of Lucas here, so I just need my phone there we go. So the other thing you can do with something like this is if you hit edit, yeah, this screen share is not working the greatest. Here we go. All right, so I am going to click edit again. There are also the same settings that you can do with photos here. If you look down here, you have number one, if you look at this button, you can crop this. So say you want to zoom in a little bit more. I just go down here to these little side tabs and change the whole orientation of this video if I want. And then click done. And you can, it is now preparing the video. So now I have it in this orientation. And see it doing it right there. So now it's closer. There we go. So the other thing that is an option here is to go down here to the adjustments. And there are several things I can do here. If I hit auto enhance, it's just gonna give it a nice, I'm gonna see if I can do this on my computer here, because that is just really sluggish. So let me go up to videos and find this again. All right. Where was that? Okay, here we go. All right, so if I hit edit, I've got all these possibilities up here. You can do this on your computer with your iPhotos account or Apple Photos account, or right on your phone. But I can go in here and I can change the exposure. You can see it brightening up there. Change the highlights or the shadows. I can adjust anything here. If I want, I can enrich the color. Or I could turn it black and white if I wanted. So you have all those options there with adjustments. And once I do that, I can click done. Again, if I change my mind, I can reset and go back to where I was before or revert. And you'll also see on the bottom of your phone screen, it would look like, you'll probably see it down here, these circles, these 3 conjoining circles. That is where you are able to just apply a filter over your video like this. All of these just give it a different tone, a different temperature, so to speak. Like that. And you can even do different types of black and white. So this would make it look almost cinematic. This would be just sort of a noir look. Here's just typical black and white. So you do have a lot of editing options there on your videos. Any questions on those?
Those are the options.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I have to confess, I do not do nearly as much video as I do still photography. But when I opened this up and decided to play around a little bit, I thought, wow, you can really do quite a bit with the video, not just the photos. Okay. Other questions? None? Okay. So was any of this a surprise to you, that all this you could do? Yeah, okay. It's amazing what's tucked into these iPhones that you don't even know are there. You don't even know these functions are there, huh? Okay. Well, most of this that I have on these slides, I've already gone through, but let me just go to the takeaways. Again, get to know those video recording settings on your phone, and those that will include various frames per second and the high definition resolutions. And that can range, depending on your phone, from 720 pixels to 4K. You can take videos in slow motion or time-lapse mode for very interesting effects. And you can edit and share videos right from your phone just by opening them up on your device. And that is something I did not show you. So let me open that up again. I forgot to do that. If I want to share this, that is pretty easy to do. You always just need to look for this little symbol here. A lot of times on your phone, it's going to be at the bottom of the screen. But if you click on that, you get the option of sharing it via email. You can drop it into a text message. You can share it on, a lot of times, on social media. It's not giving me that option here, but I could do it on Facebook or something like that. So it's pretty straightforward to sharing them. Okay, and again, click edit to make any changes you want, and use that share icon to share via text, email, and social media. Okay, so love to see any videos you decide to take, and if you do end up sharing them on your own social media feeds, feel free to give us a shout out. Our hashtag is #GetSetup, and you can always share them with Liz on our team too. She is always eager to showcase the creations that our learners develop after they take a class on something. So feel free to drop her a line. Don't be shy. And some related classes coming up. We have one on tips and tricks with Zoom. Another one on Apple Pages Basics. That's another app on that you have on Apple products. And then if you're interested in creating music and adding it to a video, there is a class on GarageBand, which is an app that automatically comes with the iPhone and iPad. I think even with a Mac, it will come in there, and it allows you to actually kind of create your own music on there. I've never really used it, but I'm interested in taking this class just to try it out. And my next classes, I have a fun one coming up this afternoon. It's a brand new class, and it's called Shooting Unique Photos of Famous Places. So this is going to look at some of the most photographed buildings and sites on Earth that you would think there would be no way you could do anything different with those, but this will just walk you through some ideas on how to make your photo of, say, the Golden Gate Bridge or Mount Rushmore or the Eiffel Tower your own. So I hope you join me for that. That's a collaboration with my colleague Russ, who does a lot of our travel classes. And tomorrow I have my weekly photography Q&A, where people can just come on and ask me whatever questions you want about photography, anything that you're finding to be particularly challenging or vexing. Just go ahead and ask, and I'll do my best to help you out. And for those who have not heard about it, we are now having another weekly event that I know some of you are involved in. It's called the Photo Challenge of the Week. And this is a chance to just share photos that you've taken with other learners and get some suggestions on them, feedback, or just really to have some fun sharing. And each week we'll have a different theme. We'll vote for a winning image, and the one we like the best and the top vote getter will receive a Get Set Up prize. And this week's theme is dogs. So if you've got a picture of your dog or somebody else's dog, or dogs, doesn't have to be just a picture of one dog, please send that in. You can submit your pictures to this email address. They're due by Wednesday, tomorrow at midnight. And then we'll get together on Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern time to share and chat about photography. And just to give you a sneak peek, the week after that, a week from Friday, the theme will be cats. So I already mentioned this to Emily, I'm giving equal time to the two most popular types of pets. And you'll be getting some class notes from me with takeaways and a couple of links. You will also get a chance to recommend this class if you liked it to friends via Facebook or email, some other class suggestions, a link to the full schedule, and a link to our feedback form. So this is a new class, so we would really welcome the feedback to help us fine tune it as needed. And you can rate the class on a 5-star scale and add any comments you want. And you can also drop them any class suggestions you have into this field down here. And Sandra, I'm seeing your question, and yes, they can be pictures from whenever. They do not have any kind of time limit on them. Past or future, past or present, but if you've got something from way back, feel free to share that too on the photo challenge. And as always, we have this option to let you invite a friend to join you for a class. You can do that via Facebook, WhatsApp, or email. And we always invite you to let us know if you would like to host an interest group of some sort on Get Set Up. We are happy to facilitate that for you. In fact, we really encourage it. If you want to get together to talk with people about a shared hobby, a shared passion, favorite movie genres, favorite music, favorite food, anything like that, just drop us a line at help@getsetup.io and we will get that rolling for you. You can also use that email to suggest a new class. You can do it that way as well. If you are a member of an organization that you think might be interested in partnering with us to deliver some classes, let us know and we'll pursue that after we hear from you. And lastly, if you want to request a recording of the session, again, that's the email you use, help@getsetup.io. So really appreciate your time. I see my video went out, so I may need to reboot my computer to get it to work a little better, but I really thank you for your time. And I hope to see you all. I know I'll see some of you again soon, but hope to see all of you again soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, everybody.